Okay,
not.
perfect. All right, it looks like we're going to be live streaming right now. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'll see you in a
Okay.
minute.
Yeah, I'm making you host again.
Okay, thanks.
And you can make me the co-host. Thank you.
Hello, welcome everybody. Hi, Deborah. Good to have you all.
Thank
Hello,
you.
how are you, Deborah?
I'm well. Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
All right, that's good. I think I have like a couple. Well, hi, Alma. I see Alma's there. I see that I don't usually teach this late, but I got scheduled a later class, which is fine, totally fine. I have my husband making dinner tonight, so that's nice. So I'm just going to, well, just mute just so we don't have the background noises as people are coming in. Hi, Cheryl. Good to have you. So we'll just give ourselves a little bit. We've got a lot of people in the wait. So you have to go through a waiting room now, which you probably noticed, and then be invited into the room. So it's going to just take a couple more minutes just to get everybody into the Zoom room here. So I want to welcome you all. We are live streaming today. And if you're not sure what that means that on our TV channel, we are broadcasting out so that people from the Facebook group and anybody that clicks the little icon on the website for Get Set Up can be part of our class today. Now they can hear us and they can see us, but we can't see them, and they can't speak, and they can't see our chat. So that is how it works. And what else to tell you? Has anybody been doing classes like over the weekend? Did anybody do classes Saturday or Sunday? Anybody? Do you remember? So we've had some interest. Yeah, no, we've had some interesting events happening over the weekend. And I was just speaking with Nancy, who's our tech support today. It actually happened yesterday as well. So we've been, these pranksters, we'll call them pranksters, disruptors, whatever you want to call them. They have nothing better to do in their days. They've been coming and bombing, they call it Zoom bombing, into our classes. So that's why we have the waiting room now. We are really making an attempt to make sure that the people that are in the class are the people that are here to learn and not just disrupt and swear, and they do all sorts of silly things. So we're just doing things a little bit differently, in the sense that as you come in, it's great if you can just put your camera on, even if it's just for a minute or two, so that Nancy can just verify that you are who you are, because they even go in and change names. So they would come in and change their name to Ravina, like my name. So it makes it very hard then to kick out the right person. So apologize up front if somebody gets kicked out by accident. It's only because we are trying to manage this, because like 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 of them show up in one class. But that's not to scare anybody. We are right on top of the security. They just sneak in somehow. So that's just a little story if you haven't heard that from any of the other guides. So I'm going to get my chat box open.
I did one this morning that I had to do the TV button because it showed full, even though there was like only 8 people in there. But I was able to interact with Norm. I mean, I would have signed up, but by the time I checked, it was already gone. I mean, full.
Right.
Weird,
so
because it wasn't full. Really.
Yeah, well, so what's happening, I don't know, maybe it said full or you couldn't enter. So what we're trying to do is give all of you learners like 5 minutes to get into class. And then after the 5 minutes, the TA is advised not to let anybody else in. And then if you're past the 5 minutes, you can phone into the help, and then the help desk will verify that you're a registered person and then let us know, and then they can let you in. So it's just, it's just, it's unfortunate, but it's just a little extra little things we're doing to make sure that the people that are in the class are the people that are meant to be in the class, and not, I mean, I think they're just young. Now, I don't want to put down young, but they sometimes put their camera on by accident and they just think it's hilarious, right?
Oh,
they think it's hilarious. They're swearing, they're disrupting and all that stuff. So it's very hard as a teacher when it happens, because it's kind of out of our control and we're trying to kick them out. So there's, a few things we need to do, but we're all here together. So
one last question. You're saying if you're late, if you're past 5 minutes, you just can't get in? Is that it?
After 5 minutes, you can reach out to support, a phone number to support, and say, hey, I'm signed up for X class and I'm a few minutes late, but can you allow me in? And then they will get you in. So it's a little bit of a workaround until we figure out the security thing. I mean, our site is so secure, but it's like hackers, that hack in and phone people and do things. They always find a way. After you fix something, they find another way. So
yeah, that'll be unfortunate. You have to be like, I mean, I'm on time, but I know sometimes then, I mean, would I call help and go through all that? Probably not.
I know. It's I think right now it's just a workaround, because these disruptions started on Saturday, and it happened in one of my classes, but at least it was right at the end of the class. So I was shocked, because he just started saying things, and you're shocked, right? You don't know what to do. Anyways, so let me get my screen shared, and as I mentioned, Nancy would really appreciate if you could just, if you can, I mean, not if you can't do it, that's okay. Just put your camera on just for a split second, and she'll just tick your name off on the thing and make sure that we're all, because, we're all, I mean, I know some of you, like Carolyn, I know Carolyn, because I see you're come to my class. Jolene's was in my classes this morning. So I think we're okay with you guys. Or if you take yourself off of audio, I mean, off of mute and just say hello. And yes, Melissa, that's right. You were in class. Yes, I remember. There you are. I get all these little boxes, so it's hard to keep track.
And hi, it's Carolyn. I don't know how to do my camera thing, but I'm here.
No problem.
Yes, I was on a couple classes where those bozos came in.
I know, it's really scary, isn't it? Like you feel really violated. But anyways, yeah, no problem, Jolene. I didn't. No problem in answering your questions.
And this is Alma. Yes, I was on the Saturday class when you had that guy at the end of the class. It was
I know. And do you know, he was the same guy, Leon or something, the same guy that bombed a bunch of other classes Saturday and Sunday. It was just the one guy Saturday, Sunday, but yesterday, apparently Nancy mentioned there was more. So, but let's stay focused, because we got lots of good stuff to learn. And I am thrilled to
well, hi, I'm just calling from Abby's iPad.
Okay. Abby.
I've been in many of your classes. I always enjoyed them. They're fantastic.
Okay, great. That's awesome. All right, so let me get the screen so you guys can see my screen now.
What class did you do on Saturday? I've done some on the weekends. So many different ones that I forget.
Saturday they seem to be putting the same 2 classes: my Detoxing Your Home and Optimal Eye Health.
No, I didn't do those. I've done some art ones on the weekends.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So let's get started so that we,
Ravina, if you
yes.
have a chance and have any natural remedies for gum soreness after a busted tooth and they had to go up and do a root thing. So
Okay.
that was what I was looking for. Thank you.
Okay. Gosh, I just think of my grandmother. She used to always, they use cloves for when you had like teeth and gum pain. But I can definitely look that up in some of my accurate sources that I have here. So natural remedies, that's what we're here about. We're going to talk about the different natural remedies. So there might be one or more remedies. And just give me 1 second.
Ravina,
Yes.
I put the Abby back to the waiting room.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks for doing that. Yeah, see, they're going to start showing up. So, all right. So we're going to do the natural remedies. And for any of you that don't know me, I'm Ravina, and I do recognize many of you, so that's awesome. I have a background in nursing and functional nutrition, so I feel like this is a love of mine, and I like to look at natural remedies as part of just ways to heal ourselves or help ourselves. I definitely think and listen to what my doctor has to say, but I also like to see if there's a natural way to take care of something. And there always is a natural way, because let's face it, natural remedies have been around for years and years and years. So we do learn from each other, and that's is really great. Sometimes I know there are some of you that will take the class a couple times, and I love that, because just think about it. You know, you're in a class with somebody else and they might ask some interesting questions, and then you learn from those questions, which is really, really great. We are recording and it is live streaming. So please ask for a copy of the recording at the end if you would like a copy. And the last thing is that we don't get paid for any promotions, or for us to talk about a product or a service or something. So if I do talk about something, I will stipulate that it's either something that I use or something that I've used that I like and I feel would be helpful to you as well. All right, so we're going to look at the healing power of plants, herbs, spices, and foods. So we're going to cover one or the other, one of those four things to do with these ailments. We're going to look at the natural, like a little bit of history, tiny little history lesson on where natural medicine came from, and then we're going to look at 7 natural remedies, or natural ways to take care of 7 ailments. All right. Let's get started. So have any of you, and you can use the chat to answer, and maybe just say hello, tell us where you're from. That would be great. And just let me know, have you used a plant, herb, spice, or food to heal a body ailment or some type of symptom? So go ahead and write in the chat there so everybody can see. And if you are having troubles to doing that, then we can you can put your hand up. Hi, Carolyn. Sure. Do you have something?
I used turmeric, and it was better than Vicodin for my lower back pain.
Yeah,
that's fabulous.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love to hear stories like that, because I keep talking about turmeric. I think I talked about turmeric, didn't I, Jolene? I think in the last 2 classes, I think the turmeric came up, because it is just such a powerful herb. So for any of you that don't know, turmeric is an herb. It's that yellow herb powder. It comes in a powder most of the time. Amazing. Yeah, aloe vera is wonderful for burns or cuts. Essential oils. I love my essential oils. Like I have there's 4 bottles of essential oils in my vicinity right now here in my office. I mean, I have one for lovely smells, like this is frangipani. This is an essential oil, a beautiful flower from Hawaii. And then I'm not sure what else I brought in here, but I've got grapefruit. Grapefruit is actually kind of like a weight loss thing too. So I put, this is the food grade. This is doTERRA. You can also what's it called? Forever Young. Forever Young is another brand. But this doTERRA, it's just so beautiful smelling. And all I do is I just put like 2 drops in my 16 ounces of water. All right. Yes. So that's great. So yeah, Young Living, that's the name of it. Prunes, yes, full of great fiber, really helps to get the bathroom experience to happen if you're feeling you're a bit stuck there. Other herbs, like berberine. Berberine is amazing for supporting your metabolic system. You're right. And so anybody who is pre-diabetic or has diabetes, berberine could be something to use. And bilberry is awesome for eye health. Absolutely. So yeah, some of you guys have been are very familiar with different types of natural aids. All right, so let me just see. I think we're okay in class now, but you see, it doesn't take, like, there was that one person that joined the class and was not supposed to be here. So I think we're doing good now with everybody. Nancy's working hard in the background. Okay, so natural remedies, as I had mentioned, have been around for like forever. So in ancient history, places like China, India, Greece, Egypt, and many other countries have been using natural remedies for years. And so also our indigenous people in different areas, they have relied on plants for healing. That's all they use are plants. So since the beginning, as humans, we have been experimenting with the different herbs out there and testing things out. So in a way, when I was researching it, some consider it like 1,000-year clinical trial to test out certain plants and how they behave and how they help us. So it's kind of fun to think of it that way, like a big, vast clinical trial. But it is interesting because the ideas that we've come up with and the curative power of plants have come, some feel that this is true, they have come from observing our animals. Because we watch our animals. Now here's this cute little guy, he's chomping on something. So the term for that is called Pharmacognosy. And that is the behavior in which animals, apparently they self-medicate themselves. So they look after themselves by specifically selecting and ingesting a particular plant to help prevent them or reduce the harmful effects of a pathogen or a toxin. So we see this in our animal kingdom. And I put this little slide up here because for any of you that have a cat or a dog, our cats and dogs do this. When they're not feeling good, when something's not settled in their stomach, what do? They look for grass. And I had a cat, I don't have a cat anymore, but Jesse, my cat, Jesse the cat, used to chomp on a bit of grass and I knew he wasn't feeling good and he just wanted to throw up. So he would eat the grass so he could throw up. Has anybody had a pet that, or maybe there's nobody in class today that has a pet, but so cats and dogs are also part of that group that will do that and to help get rid of whatever's bothering their stomach.
I had a Jack Russell and we'd have to get up at 2, 3 in the morning for her to find certain grasses that weren't mowed. She ate those until she threw up and then she was okay. And then we found out she was allergic to the premium dog food.
Okay, so there you go. So you found that out, but something wasn't suiting her, where she wasn't feeling good. So when they're not feeling good, they want to throw up. They want to get it out of their system. As humans, sometimes we just grin and bear it, right? Something's not feeling good and we just, go and take a rest or we go do something. The chimpanzee, they would seek out the Aspilia plant, and that was something to help with the bacteria and the parasites in their body. So they would look for that specific plant to eat. So it's just really, I find that really fascinating. So in today's society, we have doctors that really focus on natural medicine, and they use herbs, they use spices, they use foods, and they use plants in their medicine. So I'm just wondering, like in your area where you live, or can you think of what would be the name of those types of doctors? Now there's different names in different places. Anybody want to put something in the chat there? And what would you call this type of doctor? Yes, naturopath. That's a good one. Anything else? Can you think of anything else in your area? Yeah, holistic doctors, herbalists, absolutely. Yeah, you guys are a smart bunch here. That's right. Holistic medicine, holistic person, a herbalist, what else? There's a few others. Traditional Chinese medicine. Does anybody have one of those specialists in their neighborhood? We call that TCM for short, traditional Chinese medicine. Ayurvedic doctors, people that teach Ayurvedics or practice Ayurvedics. That comes from India. Herbal medicine doctors, another name. Aboriginal medicine, bush medicine. All of those are people that will use their natural plants, mostly plants, but spices, herbs, and food to support their practice when working with clients. Yeah, TCM and acupuncture kind of go together. A lot of people that will learn TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, also learn how to do the needles with the acupuncture. So that's kind of interesting. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, around the world and in your backyard or in your neighborhood, there's thousands of healing foods. We just need to know and get smarter about what to chomp on or what to have to help us with whatever's going on in our bodies. So yeah, acupressure as well. So let's get started, and we're going to go through 7 ailments. And I picked these 7 ailments based on kind of things that people were asking me about that are kind of maybe more common than not. So the first one is high blood sugar. Now, if you have diabetes, you know all about high blood pressure, high blood sugar. If you are pre-diabetic and you've been told you're pre-diabetic, you probably have a worry about blood sugar levels. Some of us are not even aware that we might have high blood sugar. Now, it depends on what we're ingesting and putting into our mouths. If we tend to eat a lot of sugar, or we don't even realize it, but the hidden sugars in our foods, our pancreas is working overtime, constantly working, putting the insulin into the bloodstream to try to get rid of this glucose. But if you've ever heard of the term insulin resistance, that happens when you overdo it, when you constantly are eating white bread, eating white products, and having the sugars. Your pancreas keeps pumping out the insulin into the bloodstream, but nothing's happening. It's just sitting in there because you're resistant to the insulin. So what can you do from a natural perspective to help that? We all don't want sugar in our bloodstream, just to be clear. There's no good advantage of ever having sugar levels sitting in your bloodstream. Sugar, carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates break down to glucose. The glucose goes into our bloodstream, and then, it gets used for energy, but the excess sits there, it goes into your bloodstream, and then your pancreas has to deal with it, if that makes sense. Whole grains, yes, are much better than refined. So when you eat whole grains, at least there's some fiber there to help buffer the sugar. You'll be surprised, and I mentioned this in other classes. I'm not sure specifically with the natural remedies class, but the food industry is very sneaky. I'll say that. I'll say sneaky. They put sugar in about 70% of our foods, unfortunately. Even things that you just wouldn't think, why is there sugar in here? Now, we might not even realize the amount of sugar. Like we know with pop, I need to tell you guys, like pop has a lot of, like regular pop with sugar is like teaspoons of sugar in one pop. But I'm talking about things like ketchup. Maybe we're aware that there's sugar in ketchup, There's a lot of sugar in ketchup, as a matter of fact. But what about things like, I was shocked the other day, a few months back at Christmas time, the potato patties I was buying. I like having potato for breakfast sometimes. And I thought, why don't I just get the ready-made hash browns and those little things? And I thought, it's just potato and oil and salt. That's all that I thought would be in the package. But guess what? There was dextrose. Dextrose is sugar. Then you might ask, well, why would they put sugar in hash browns? Nobody puts sugar. You don't put sugar on your hash browns normally. Maybe on your pancakes you have maple syrup, but why is there sugar in my hash browns? Can anybody answer why there's sugar in the hash browns? I mean, it's kind of sickening, but it's there to make you addicted to the food. So you eat more and you buy more. So that's what the food industry does sometimes. They're a little bit manipulative. They add that little bit of dextrose. Dextrose is a sugar. It's still a sugar. It doesn't taste sweet. So when you're eating your potato patty, you're like, there's no sugar in here. Did you read the ingredients? So that's why it's so important to read the ingredients. You read the ingredients and you realize that, oh my gosh, there's sugar in here. So when I did a little bit of a sugar detox in beginning of March, I had to read the labels on absolutely everything. There was sugar in my mayonnaise, and I was so angry because there was a mayonnaise I liked, and it was a good one, and it had sugar in it. So I either make my own mayonnaise, or I found the Japanese mayonnaise that comes in with the little red top. That one actually didn't have sugar in it. So great. What else? Mustards. There's some mustards that don't have sugar in it. If you ever have a sweet and sour sauce, there's tons of sugar in those. So anyways, I'm just basically saying, you got to watch your sugars, even if you don't think you're having sugar. What could you do as a natural remedy? Cinnamon. Cinnamon has been proven in study after study that this fragrant, beautiful spice that comes from the bark of a tree is beautiful, and it has evidence that it can bring down the sugar levels in your blood and help to improve your insulin sensitivity, which is what you want. That's a positive. You want better sensitivity to your insulin. And it also helps to improve the fats in your blood to help reduce those. Yeah, Cheryl's mentioning pasta sauce usually has sugar added. Isn't that interesting? Some will say no added sugar, but you really do have to be careful. Like, you've got to read your labels. Dextrose is a sneaky one, but there's like 60 plus different names for sugar. So even if you are pre-diabetic or you're worried about diabetes because it runs in your family, try putting cinnamon on things. I just put cinnamon in something. Let me think. Oh, I made my coffee earlier because it was cold here. I added a little sprinkle of cocoa, like the raw cocoa, which is called cacao. There's no sugar in that. And I added a little bit of cinnamon into my coffee. Any amount of cinnamon is valuable because it's such a beautiful spice. So you could put it in, maybe try to get a half a teaspoon if you can in your day. So you can sprinkle it in your smoothie. I sprinkled it in my coffee. You can put it in the, this is a typical, like a breakfast of oatmeal. It's fabulous with apples or in your applesauce. I can think of many sweet things to put cinnamon in because we think of sweets like baking goods with cinnamon. But if the other thing is cinnamon can actually go in savory foods like soups and stews. So give it a try. Just, I guess the whole point is, if you know cinnamon is a good one and it can help with the blood sugar, if you're feeling like you've got that headachy because you've got too much sweet in your body, I mean, there's other ways to deal with it. And my diabetes class will teach you that, like drinking some water and getting out for a walk and moving will help bring down the blood sugar, the sugar levels in your blood. But, having a bit of cinnamon in hot water or in your tea would be wonderful.
I just checked my mayo jar. It has less than 2% sugar.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, because some of these things is crazy. It's how high the sugar amount is. I was so mad at the potato patties, honestly, because I don't eat a lot of potatoes. And so once in a while I crave that crispy potato patty. But who knows? I don't know if when you go out and have it in stores, I'm sure they buy it in bulk. My dad gets a thing from Costco, and whenever I go there, he makes those for breakfast. Well, I know there's sugar in it because I checked every single brand in my store and they all had dextrose in it. So second ailment, hair thinning. Don't we hate this one? It can happen quite readily when we're going through menopause for us women. I'm not really talking about men, you know, the male baldness, like the more moderate to heavy hair loss. Those types typically are because of hereditary. It's a hereditary thing. Like it runs in my mom, like my grandfather, he had hair thinning happening quite early in life, and so it affects it affects my siblings because it misses a generation, if you've heard of that. So my grandpa on my dad's side had thinning hair, so both my brothers are going to have to deal with that. It's mostly a male thing that gets passed down. But I'm talking more about the minor kind of to moderate hair loss, where you go in the shower one day and you go, oh my gosh, why is my hair falling out? Like it feels like it's falling out. It's not really falling out. It's just that your hair is sort of thinning. My hairstylist told me that, and there's many reasons for this, and we'll get into it. My hairstylist told me that when she has clients that are get pregnant, she knows that about 4 months to the day, 4 months after they give birth, they'll notice that their hair is thinning. And that is, we'll get to it why. But there's lifestyle habits and genetics, both of those things that can affect your hair. So we typically lose around 50 to 100 hairs a day. It seems like a lot, doesn't it? It's like, oh gosh, like that's an average. 50 to 100 hairs come out anyway. So when you're in the shower, it's okay. Especially in the summer, you might feel like you're shedding. Over treating your hair, wearing your hair too tight. A lot of millennials wear their hair really tight and put it up in a bun. I don't know if that's still a style, but I see it in the gym all the time. Low minerals like iron and your other minerals, you're low in minerals. Chronic stress, that's the big one. Underlying medical condition. So it could be your thyroid. Low thyroid can cause hair loss, like hair thinning. The best cure for your hair thinning really is to eliminate whatever stressful thing you've got going on. So remember, there's like a 4-month lag approximately. So if you're noticing hair loss now, think back 4 months ago, what was going on in your life? Have you fixed that thing that was going on in your life? Good to know that Hellmann's Real Mayo has 0 sugar. Yay, because I like the real mayonnaise. So figure out what the chronic stress is that's going on, and it probably started around or was really big 4 months ago. So the other things that we can do for this ailment is to increase our vitamins and minerals, specifically the ones that are in fruits and vegetables. Check your iron levels, check your zinc levels. Those are the 2 main minerals, iron and zinc, and biotin, which is B7. Those are the big ones. Now, those things can be found in nuts, liver, lentils. You could take a supplement if your doctor approved you on taking a zinc supplement. And iron is a tricky one, but you can, sometimes it can upset a person's stomach taking iron supplements, but I would rather you get it in your dark green leafy vegetables and lentils and nuts. Omega-3 is another thing that can help you with your hair thinning, and really focusing on your omega-3 fatty acids. Those are things that come in the fatty fish like sardines and salmon and herring and mackerel. And if you're not a fish lover or you're vegan, you can get it in your seeds, your flax seeds, your chia seeds, and your hemp seeds. And as I mentioned, nuts are a really great source. So the best thing you can do if you're noticing your hair has changed a little bit is just to be kind to yourself to begin with. You need to reduce your stress. So being angry about it and worried about it is not going to help the situation. So be kind to yourself and know, okay, something must have been going on for me 4 months ago. Have I taken care of whatever that is? So that would be like what I would suggest for hair thinning. The main thing with hair thinning is that you address what's going on in your life. Address what's actually happening in your life, because 9 times out of 10, there's something stressful that you had to go through, a situation. A lot of us might have even noticed hair loss back last year when COVID first started and we had no idea what this meant. Was the world ending? Like, it was pretty horrible, wasn't it? I remember being so frightful watching or listening on YouTube. I don't know if you guys remember in the very beginning, those poor people that were being locked up basically in their apartments in Wuhan, like where it first we found out about it, and crying out and shouting out because they were basically had to stay in their homes, in their condos. And it was just so frightful when I heard that video. But I remember feeling scared, going, what's going on in this world? And so that could have been the start of chronic stress for a lot of us. So March, April, May, June, maybe last summer, you were kind of happy that you weren't going and seeing people because maybe you weren't happy with how your skin was looking and how your hair was feeling. It's hard to think back then because feels like we've been doing this forever, right? Like, what are we, 18 months now? And it's still tough. So the third one is anxiety. And as I've just mentioned of what we've just been talking about, every one of us has probably experienced acute anxiety for some reason or other. We have a chaotic world. Like, we just do. Life was a lot simpler even 20 years ago. It's ramped up. We're constantly, with our phones constantly. We either have our phone, our laptop, a tablet. We have 3 things going on at the same time. We're bombarded with stimulus. And often, I think one of the real reasons why some of us are suffering and having some anxiety that we kind of just don't know where it came from, and we're not willing to even go see anybody about it, that although technology like Zoom connects people, it also disconnects us from people. Do you know what I mean? Like, when's the last time you actually picked up, like, I have a friend who's 70. She's my friend from school, from work. She actually phones me. Like, who gets phone calls anymore? Does anybody get phone calls, or does everybody just send like the little text or give the little heart emoji or check mark on, like, somebody posts something on Facebook and that's all we do? Like, there could be friends of ours, but we've just disconnected from people. So we're lonely a lot, like, not even to mention the whole fact that we're spending a lot of time alone in our own homes, especially if we live on our own. We're not connecting like we used to, where we would at least pick up the phone, if not go and visit somebody in person. So anxiety is quite a common thing. So it's really important, if it's gone unchecked, that you do seek out some attention for this. But I do have some really great things that could probably help if you do suffer anxiety. First of all, I want to just mention, if any of you have that anxiety feelings first thing in the morning, but then that it kind of dissipates a bit by the afternoon, know that the stress hormone cortisol naturally is at its peak in the mornings. I didn't know that at first. And when I learned that, I realized when I was under like some chronic stress of stuff that was going on in my workplace before I retired, there was a lot of stuff going on and it wasn't fun. I already had stress going on. I already had the release of cortisol, the stress hormone in my body. But in the mornings, it was double, because that's when everybody's cortisol naturally peaks in the morning. So when my own cortisol plus the regular cortisol was at its peak in the morning, guess what? I couldn't think. I had a hard time concentrating. I could make my breakfast, but I felt anxious in the mornings. Well, that's why. If any of you feel that and you feel better maybe by the afternoon, when the phone rings in the morning, you jump, it's because of the extra cortisol that gets released in your body. But the best thing you can do for anxiety is to keep yourself active, get into a routine, get out and move your body. This is the time to maybe cut down on the amount of alcohol or minimize it, or no alcohol, to help improve your anxiety. Ditching caffeine, again, caffeine could just exacerbate your anxiety. Practicing doing deep breathing, and I would suggest learning that from either on YouTube or learning that from a meditation class or a yoga class where you can learn about that. So what else do we have? Improving your quality of sleep. Sleep is super important. If you don't get enough quality sleep, your body can't do its detoxifying. And when I mean the different levels of sleep, like some of us are light sleepers and we only stay in the sort of light sleep, and we might go into REM sleep and then we pop back out into light sleep, and we're waking up at the drop of a hat. Something makes a noise outside, we wake up, then we got to pee, when we got to get up, then the light's too bright in the bathroom or whatever. And it becomes this sort of vicious cycle, right? If you go to REM sleep, that's great. But if you don't ever get into deep sleep, that's not good. Deep sleep is when your body does its healing. It works on the cells. It cleans the brain. The liver does all the detoxifying, and then the liver needs to do its dumping of the toxins, usually between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning. That's when your liver is really working hard. If you don't get proper sleep, you don't give yourself time to do the cleanup it needs, and you will age rapidly. So, you know, it's just really important to get a good night's sleep. Meditating also can help with anxiety. Improving on your diet, even just feeding and fueling your body with what it really, really desires and needs, can help bring your anxiety down. Trying aromatherapy. Now, we talked about essential oils. Those essential oils, the food grade ones you can put in your water or in food. Like when I did my smoothie this morning, I put 2 drops of tangerine oil into my smoothie, and it gave it sort of a nice citrus feel. I love these last 2 ones. Spending time with animals. Now, I don't have a cat anymore, but just the thought of a cat makes me smile. And I like cats because I find them, they're so secretive. They're kind of snobby sometimes. I just like cats' personalities. I think I like when they're kind of just like have nothing, they can't be bothered with you. Like I find that, I don't know, I do enjoy dogs too, so don't get me wrong, but dogs are just like, they love everybody. But I love the fact that cats are just have their own kind of interesting personality. And have you noticed that they have animals now at the airport, in the front entrance of the hospital? They're there for a reason. They're therapy animals, and they're there to help calm us and relieve our anxiety. Maybe we're worried that we're going to be going into, somebody's in surgery and we're stressed, or you just missed a flight, or the flight was late, so now you've missed your connection, or whatever is happening. That's why we have therapy dogs it's usually dogs to help us calm ourselves. So that's a possibility if you've got anxiety, to maybe get a pet. I mean, I'm not saying to get a pet, I'm just saying it's a possibility. And then there's this thing called weighted blankets. Has anybody heard of a weighted blanket or used one? Yeah, Cheryl's used one. Can you tell us
No,
how that's?
I've never used them. I know what they are.
Oh,
but I
you've
have
heard
not
of them.
used one.
Yeah.
Has it gifts too?
Yeah. Has anybody used a weighted blanket? Just take yourself off of mute and just let us know. Curious, because I don't know much about them. I think Deborah's
I've used a quilt type of weighted blanket, and it adds more weight to the blanket, so it's a little heavier, like you actually being hugged or something.
Okay. Cool.
I used one, but I used the child one that was like a throw that wasn't quite as heavy as the adult ones, and that seemed to be better for me.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I know there's different levels of weight, like different types levels of weight, and so you find the one that really works for you. I know for a fact there's okay, for example, when I have a nap in the afternoon, if I do get a chance to have a nap and I feel like a nap, it doesn't matter if it's 95 degrees out there. Like, I don't know, somebody in class this morning said where they live is 95 degrees. I mean, I have to have the fan on, but I still have to have a blanket on me. I need something for that secure feeling to feel good. Now, on the other hand, my husband will go lie down on the bed, lie on his back, like nothing on him, and he can fall asleep. I can't fall asleep if I don't have a blanket on me. So I think there's something about comfort or security that makes you feel good with a weighted blanket. So let's look at the actual remedies other than those ones that I've given you. Lavender is the clear winner. Has anybody used lavender or grow lavender? Yeah, isn't it beautiful? Like, I just look at the picture of lavender, the lavender fields. Like, I would just love to go. I love that color. I would love to go to a lavender farm or somewhere where I could just see miles and miles of lavender. But the actual something in lavender helps to calm our anxiety. So you can take beautiful lavender and make it into a little pouch and put it in your pillowcase. You can put it in your sock drawer or in your underwear drawer. You can put it in tea. People make baked goods with lavender, and there is something to do with lavender that helps with anxiety. The other thing is passion flower. That's also an herb called passion flower. They usually mix passion flower with a few things, but you can find that in teas. So, it's important to try some of these things if you're having some of these ailments. Make sure you do talk to your doctor, but it doesn't hurt to try something like even chamomile. We all have heard of chamomile, I'm pretty sure. They put in sleepy tea, right? This is the sleepy tea. There's no caffeine. It sort of calms us and gets us ready for going to sleep.
Yeah. There's here in California, there's a beekeeper that farms his bees in the lavender fields. I wonder what that does to the honey.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yes. I mean, like, I love honey. I think honey is one of, like, it's just it's a beautiful, I mean, it is a sugar. There's no question that honey has the sugar and does affect our pancreas and our insulin levels. But honey comes with amazing amounts of enzymes, depending on where the honey is made. And boy, is it nice when, like, sometimes if there's the lavender fields near the honey bees or something else near the honey bees, it can affect the honey, and that's pretty exciting. Yeah, that's interesting with autistic children. That's great. Love that.
I have a question.
Sure, Laverne.
Would you suggest, okay, they have like aromatherapy tea, like in the grocery stores. Would you recommend that tea or get it from a health food store?
I think if you read the instructions on what you have from your grocery store, it might be a good tea. There are definitely better brands than others when it comes to herbal teas. Some of them are not great. You got to read the labels. And if the lavender is the last ingredient, there's not that much lavender in that tea. So check the label on whichever tea it is that you're considering. I see some really good brands of tea in my grocery store now. Like, it's become more mainstream. I go to a place where I get loose tea, and you can actually see the lavender in the mixture, and that makes me happy that I can actually see the lavender. But health food stores are pretty fantastic. Farmers markets, there's people that make teas and stuff. So look around, but grocery stores can have pretty decent teas. Yeah, for sure.
I have a question here.
Sure.
I am 75, and for sometimes I had problems sleeping, and I tried what you call the green tea or decaf tea and all that, because I have the tendency, or I like to have tea maybe 1 or 2 hours before sleeping.
Yeah.
But it really it doesn't make me sleep. It's the opposite. It makes me awake more, even if it's decaf, even if it's green tea. So do you agree that there is some kind of caffeine or some kind of tannin, whatever?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I answer that?
Sure, Laverne.
Green tea has a lot of caffeine in it.
Oh.
Yeah,
No wonder.
that I
No
do
wonder.
know, because some time ago I was thinking about drinking green tea, and I think it had like 45% of caffeine in it. And I'm a person, I can't do caffeine. I have to be careful even about chocolate candy. I can't do caffeine. Caffeine makes me nervous.
Yeah. So, so Amir, yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing, Laverne. Green tea definitely naturally has caffeine in it. And just so you are all aware, when it's decaffeinated tea, it's just like decaffeinated coffee. There is still some caffeine in it. They don't say it because it's under a certain amount, but also think about how did they decaffeinate it? That in itself, unless it's the Swiss water method, that they're adding chemicals to get the caffeine out. So I don't like that either. So what I would suggest is try some different herbal teas. Now I'm going to write one in the chat here for everybody. This is the tea. This is the tea that I drink, and it to me is the closest to natural tea, because I do like a regular cup of tea, but I drink this one in the evening. What this is the red African bush is what this actually is. It tastes pretty good. Like my mom she loved her tea, and she didn't really like herbal teas. She didn't like the flavorings and stuff. I got her onto rooibos. She really loved it. Rooibos, I think I spelled it right. You can find it in your grocery store pretty much anywhere. And it's from the red bush. So the tea does look red, looks quite dark, Cheryl. But when you brew it, it looks just like regular black tea kind of, but it's kind of a reddish color, not like red. It just looks just nice and bright. I love it. You can get rooibos vanilla. You can get like rooibos mixed with you can do a latte or a chai.
Is it decaf?
Decaf, completely zero caffeine. So Amir, try finding rooibos and try that out, and then let me know, because I love it. I have it every day. And I kind of drink it during the day too. I'm kind of like Laverne too. Like caffeine kind of makes me jumpy. And I already have cortisol going in my body in the morning like everybody else. So I sort of stay away from it. All right, let's keep moving on so we don't run out of time. This one, edema. Does everybody know what edema is? Swelling common in our ankles. When we're flying, we can have swelling. So there's many reasons why we might have swelling, but we might have ill-fitted shoes. We might be standing on our feet too long. We might be, our diet's not great, and we might just sort of be more sedentary. So we're more prone to having swelling of our feet or other parts of our body. But the number one thing is, it's likely that you are dehydrated, which sounds kind of opposite, doesn't it? When you're dehydrated, what happens is your body hoards any fluid in your body. So your body will hold on to it instead of releasing it, because it's scared you're not going to give it any water. So the very best thing you can do for edema, that's the medical term for it, for swelling, edema, is to drink a good amount of water, sipping it throughout the day. Get your hydration back, and you'll find your body will just naturally let go of that extra water. Now, there's other things you can do. You can wear compression socks. That's one way to kind of like push the water, push it out. Cool Epsom salt bath can also help, and you'll see why in a second. And even raising your feet above your heart will kind of help to reduce the ankle swelling. But typically people are low in magnesium. That's why the Epsom salt bath is really helpful, because there's magnesium in Epsom salts. And our skin, remember, is the largest organ of our body. So if you're finding swelling happening in your face, in your ankles, in body parts that you just didn't know why you'd be getting swelling, you might be low in magnesium. So look for foods like almonds, tofu, cashew, spinach, broccoli, avocados. Those are all high in in magnesium. So that would be what I would do for swelling. The next one is blood pressure. You've heard me talk about high blood pressure in a few of my other classes. High blood pressure sometimes, unfortunately, is hereditary. So maybe you're eating a great diet and you're feeling pretty healthy and you have no idea why your blood pressure is high. So that's okay. It might be a bit of a genetic thing that your blood pressure tends to be on the high side. The number one thing that I want you to do is go and see your doctor if you think your blood pressure is high. Constant high blood pressure will damage your heart permanently. So this isn't one to play around with. If the blood pressure is high, go see your doctor. If you have to go on medication, even if it's for a small amount of time, listen to what your doctor says so you can get it into the normal range again. Elevated high blood pressure for a long, long time, if you've taken my brain course, higher risk of getting dementia. Nobody wants that. So let's look at what we can do for blood pressure. You can start moving your body a little bit, getting that movement in regularly, even if it's a walk around the block. Just reducing your salt for a little bit to try to get that blood pressure down, managing your stress. And maybe consider cutting out the caffeine, which we just were talking about for a period of time. And also the alcohol. Alcohol in itself generally increases your blood pressure. So maybe for a time, maybe you're going to just focus on your health, maybe cut down or cut out the alcohol for a bit. But here's the thing with high blood pressure. You might be low in potassium. So swelling, low in magnesium. High blood pressure, low in potassium. What are foods with potassium? Well, the green leafy vegetables, bananas. We all hear about bananas having high potassium. Apricots are very high in potassium. Nuts, seeds, and beans, those all have a good amount of potassium. One other little tip, trick, natural remedy. Now, I'm not going to say go hog wild with this one, but beautiful, natural, dark chocolate. So 70% higher chocolate actually has, first of all, rich in flavonoids. And what it does is it relaxes our blood vessels. So our blood vessels relax. And when our blood vessels are relaxed, it lowers our blood pressure. Isn't that fun? So if you're having a stressful time, stressful day, you can feel your redness in your face. You can feel that your blood pressure, if somebody were to take your blood pressure, it's up. Maybe calm yourself down with a cup of rooibos tea and maybe a little piece of chocolate. And maybe munch on a couple seeds and some apricots. Like those kinds of things are going to help your blood pressure naturally. So you could do those along with maybe being on a medication that your doctor's put you on. And then maybe at your 3-month checkup, your doctor says, hey, you're doing pretty good here. And maybe then you could maybe possibly get off of your medication. So that's the blood pressure one.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
There is this salt without the sodium chloride, which is potassium. Is it as harmful or less harmful?
For salts, like what I like to do for salt is I use a thing called Herbamare. Herbamare, it's called. It comes in a green bottle, and it's got a bit of Celtic salt, like the sea salt, but it's got a mixture of celery, parsley, all the greens, and it's been dehydrated down to a salt. So it's a beautiful flavor. Like I have it in my salt shaker. It's like it tastes salt like salt to me, but it's a mixture of all these vegetables.
Can you write down?
Yes.
So that
Yeah. I think that's the name of it. We get it in Canada. I'm sure you can get it in the States. There's different versions. It comes like in a green container, and it's sort of a gray, sort of a beigey color. It's not white salt. It's sea salt mixed with all these amazing vegetables, and it's so good. It's my favorite.
But the one that I mentioned, is it no salt? What I'm mentioning?
The sodium chloride.
No, the potassium chloride. That's the. I have the container right in front. It is potassium. Potassium.
I know what Amir is talking about because my blood pressure was up, and I bought some. To tell you the truth, I really don't care for it, but I use the other ones too, like you said, the ones that's dehydrated.
Yeah.
I was using that with Mrs. Dash because I had went to the doctor and my blood pressure was over the top.
Yeah.
It scared me. And that first week I cut out salt, period.
Yeah.
And my blood pressure went down so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. So Mrs. Dash is another one that's similar to Urban Mare. So sorry, Amir, I wasn't familiar with that one that you're using. I don't think that would be the potassium. Like I would try to get your potassium from some of these other foods to improve your blood pressure issue.
Okay.
All right, we got 2 more to go. I know we're a little bit shorter on time just because of the beginning with just getting ourselves set up, but that's okay. Psoriasis is number 6. Psoriasis is a skin irritation. If anybody has psoriasis or even eczema, it's not fun. We don't like it. It doesn't look good. We cover up our legs. We cover up our extremities. The number one thing with psoriasis is stress. That's what usually triggers our psoriasis outbreak. A salt bath can soothe your skin. Anything to reduce your stress will help eventually get rid of the psoriasis patch that's shown up on your skin. So meditation, yoga, deep breathing, any of those things. Also moistening your air. If you live in a dry place like Palm Springs, for example, the air is very dry. Putting moisture back into even if you put a bowl with water in it, the air will suck it up and get that moisture into your air if you don't have an actual humidifier. So those are all sort of natural things you can do for psoriasis. But the number one thing, if you suffer with any kind of like skin dryness, irritation, like eczema or they call it eczema. I don't know. I was taught when growing up, it was called eczema, but I think I always hear them say eczema. It sounds funny. But anyway, the best thing you can do for your skin is aloe vera. That's not surprising, right? Aloe vera can help with redness, scaliness, itchiness, and inflammation. And you can even get an actual aloe vera plant and pinch off bits of it to put on your skin. There's beautiful aloe vera gels, like for after sun, there's aloe vera gels. Just read your labels. Make sure aloe vera is the first or the second ingredient, if not the first. Because if it's the last ingredient, it's just a whole lot of chemicals probably, and then a little bit of aloe vera. So maybe go to your health food store to get it. And then the other big thing, which I always love to talk about, is omega-3 fatty acids, right? The omega-3s decreases inflammation. And that's what's going on when you have a psoriasis patch on your body, on your skin. So increase your omega-3s, your nuts and seeds, remember, and your fatty fishes like the sardines, the salmon, the mackerel, the herring. These will all really help your skin. You'll find your skin will start to glow just by having the omega-3s, just in general, even if you didn't have psoriasis. All right. Sorry for anybody who has to leave. I apologize, but you can ask for the recording because we're just like a minute or so over. But I want to just, if you've written down what you want to write down for this. So it's the aloe vera and omega-3 fatty acids that you get from fish, the fatty fish and the seeds. The last ailment I just want to mention, and I do have an optimal eye health class that I will be doing today's only Thursday. So Saturday is my eye health class. If you've got decreased vision as an older adult, or you're noticing your vision is changing a little bit, the best thing you can do is try to maintain a healthy weight, get yourself moving, try to reduce your chance of getting type 2 diabetes, because what goes with type 2 diabetes often is diabetic retinopathy, which is the fancy term for you're losing your eyesight. So if you know anybody with diabetes, it affects the little blood vessels in the back of our eye where our retina is. And it's just not nice. You start to have night vision is hard, day vision becomes hard, all those things affects. So with decreased vision, I would say we want our A's, our C's, and our E's. Those are the vitamins that you want from your colorful, beautiful red and orange vegetables. The red peppers, or broccoli, spinach. Again, it's like eating the rainbow. If you eat the rainbow, your eyes will be much happier. What else? carotenoids, carotenoids in your green leafy vegetables, in your broccoli, zucchini, and even in eggs. Those things are all great for our eyes. Strawberries are great too. So anything colorful is amazing for our eyes. So that takes us to the end of the class. And I hope that you realize or see that our food and the things around us, regardless of if we end up on medication or not, we can do a lot ourselves to improve some of these common ailments that happen in our bodies. And, unfortunately, as we age, sometimes these things become bigger things than when we were younger. But that's okay. We can live vibrant lives. Like my job outside of Get Set Up is I'm a vibrant living coach. That's what I do. I'm a health and life coach. And I mentor people to live vibrantly. So even if you learned one little tip in today's class, like that green tea, for instance, has caffeine in it, or decaf tea actually still has some caffeine in it, and maybe you're going to try rooibos for the first time. That would be awesome. Check out all our new classes, and I will send a little post email out to you. And you can invite friends now, which is wonderful with the invite your friend button. After you have to sign up for the class first, then the button pops up. And then if you would like to suggest a class, please send an email to help@getsetup.io. And we'll have a look and see what you're suggesting. And maybe you'd like to run an interest group. You can do that too now, which is really exciting for all of us learners. Does anybody have a quick question before we end? Cheryl, do you want to say something?
Yes, hopefully it'll be quick. What do you feel about frozen fruits and vegetables? I pretty much eat frozen vegetables because I don't go in grocery stores anymore. And I order my food through Instacart. I don't know if you have that in Canada, but
yeah, we have similar stuff like that. I never used to be a fan of frozen. I used to think, oh, frozen, no. But you know what? Frozen's actually the closest to our fresh, because normally at the peak of the season, they will freeze your blueberries, your vegetables and all that kind of stuff. And so frozen is pretty fantastic because it's keeping it at its peak. And you pull out what you need. So if that's all, I mean,
and, it just goes bad. Fresh stuff just goes bad.
And exactly. And you know what? We do both in our home. We've got some things frozen, some things fresh, because for that exact reason. Like, honestly, your frozen, whatever it is better than something sitting in your fridge for 5 days or 7 days.
Yeah.
And it is cheaper, the blueberries.
Yes, that's true. That's true. That's true. Did anybody else have a quick question?
Comment, yes.
I have a comment.
Sure.
But I lost the screen, but if you can hear, can you hear?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, here, go ahead.
Hi, this is Joe. I just wanted to comment on the use of potassium chloride. And again, you did underscore the fact that you should go have some screening from your physician.
Yes.
And also because some individuals, especially those with elderly, older individuals with some underlying kidney disease and with hypertension and diabetes, are prone to develop hyperkalemia, high potassium. So taking potassium chloride over the counter itself can be particularly tricky, and not only that, but can be lethal. So please check it out with your doctor whether or not you can take that. I underscore that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for saying that. I always try to say in all my classes, like, it's always good to be working with your doctor, because they know you from your history. They know what medications you're taking. Maybe there's a medication that's causing something to happen. Remember, we need our potassium and our sodium and our magnesium and those things in our body to survive. But some things can set that out of balance, and then it's very dangerous. It can be very dangerous. So thank you very much for everybody's input today. And I'd come back to class again, take the class again, because, we get different people in the class and asking different questions. So I'm going to let you all go. We're over time now. So thank you so much for all being here. And I'll see you again in a class tomorrow. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.